The long-awaited Pink Tape by Lil Uzi Vert is finally here, and I've seen a lot of different mixed reviews about it online. Let's talk about it.
This ain't what you want. Project. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. Ha! 1600 block. I just wanna rock.
This album is somewhat experimental. There's either the electronic synth-based Lil Uzi Vert, or there's the rock or heavy metal-based Lil Uzi Vert on this album. You get a mix of both. Personally, I'm a fan of both versions, but I found myself gravitating a lot more to the synth-based tracks on this album. As always, Uzi brings so much energy on this album, it's contagious. Shout out Hip Hop by the Numbers on Twitter for already putting together this amazing stat sheet of 5% of Uzi's total vocals on the album are either the words yeah and whoa. The reason why this is relevant is because those are just ad-libs that Uzi's doing over the incredible production that's found on this album. This album truly is a transfer of energy from Uzi to us. If you go into this album looking for the richest poetry ever written, you're going to be disappointed. But if you can have an open mind and go into this album just trying to have a little bit of fun, then you'll enjoy it. There are 26 tracks and the album clocks in at almost an hour and 30 minutes. Honestly, the album is pretty bloated and there are some misses on the album, but you're bound to have some misses when you have 26 tracks. They're not all going to be hits. So personally, I'm not complaining as much about it as I have with other trap albums that were released this year, because we haven't had an Uzi album in 3 years, so obviously I'm happy to get all the music we can get. But from this album's standpoint, it definitely would have been better if it was trimmed down to, maybe 15 tracks, clocking in still at maybe an hour. Speaking of Uzi's last album though, Pink Tape is way better than Eternal Atake in my opinion. Pink Tape has a very interesting feel to it because it is kind of all over the place with the different styles of production, even the different genres that Uzi mixes here. A lot of different flows found on the album, so on one hand, it's not very consistent. But somehow it works for me. The variety, I find it really nice. And if anything, this album is not boring by any means. It starts off with a really solid 3-track run right here. Flooded the Face is the perfect intro to an album like this. This track is definitely going to be a fan favorite off the album, and I know why. It's because it has so much energy found within these 4 minutes. I've seen mixed reviews on this track. Personally, I'm a fan. I thought it was really good. I know some people were disappointed with Travis Scott's verse, but I'm not too mad about it. Definitely could have been better, but I think it's a fun track. Endless Fashion is another favorite of mine. It samples Blue, and I don't know what in the world is going on, why we have such a fascination of this song within the last few years and its resurgence, but this is definitely the best version. And of course, how can there be an album called Pink Tape without a feature from Barbie herself? Nicki delivers a solid verse. Obviously, Just Wanna Rock is on this album, and yeah, it's still gonna be one of the better tracks on the album. Pluto to Mars seems to be one that I don't see a lot of people talking about online, but I think it's so good. And then my favorite bonus track is definitely Zoom. As always, I'm adding my favorite tracks off the album to my New Music Friday playlist, which you can find the link to my Spotify in my bio. On this playlist, I update it with my favorite tracks released every week, and I update it every week so that way you don't have to stay up as late as I do listening to everything. Overall, some songs are better than others, some are sleepers, some are absolute bangers, and some lie somewhere in between. Definitely worth a listen in my opinion. Probably half of the tracks on this album are going to be added to some of my playlists. Was Pink Tape worth the 3-year wait from Uzi? I don't know. Let me know below in the comments, what do you think about Lil Uzi Vert's newest album, Pink Tape? I'm Honeybee Reviews, and don't forget to follow me for more music related content.